Hey guys, we're going to be talking about weeks number 7 and beyond in the NFL schedule. So in week 6, we got our very first game in Europe, which was the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Buffalo Bills. In the 7th week, we get a back-to-back a game for the Jaguars in Europe. We got at 8:15 p.m. Okay, so week 6, week 7. We're in week 8, right? Jaguars, Saints. Oh, do they even have me on the right schedule? 2023. Okay, preseason. Let's see. Let's go all the way down. Sorry, I'm just trying to find the schedule here. Lost it. Okay, so what? Okay. NFL schedule release 2023. I know. I should have been more prepared here. I have no idea why. Yeah, Lions Chiefs was the first game. Let's see. Week 4. Week 5. Okay, so we know what? We only waited week 5 because Jaguars Bills. Right? Jaguars Bills, 9:30 a.m. on Sunday. Okay, week 6. We have the Broncos versus the Chiefs. That should be an interesting game, a Thursday night game there. Broncos Chiefs. Will Russell Wilson be as good? He can't be any worse than he was last year, right? So that's a big game. Then we had the Ravens versus the Titans on October 15th, and that game is in Germany. So the Titans have a tough one in Germany versus the Ravens, and I guess that's a home game for the Titans. So, unfortunately, the fans from Gillette Stadium will have one last home game to cheer on their Tennessee Titans. We then have the Lions versus the Buccaneers. I still say that the Lions will still be one of the top teams in their division. The Buccaneers, I don't know. We'll see who's going to be the starting quarterback. Will Trask finally, have the opportunity of starting, or will it be, Baker? We got the Panthers versus the Dolphins. The Panthers have a really good defense, though. I'm like, the Dolphins have a really good offense. Should be that game should be a good one. Saints versus the Texans. Commanders versus the Falcons. Colts versus the Jaguars at 1 p.m. Seahawks versus Bengals at 1 p.m. That's a good matchup. Vikings versus the Bears at 1. 49ers versus the Browns in Cleveland. We have the Patriots going to Vegas, facing off against the Raiders. It could be Tom Brady, playing against the Patriots again as an owner this time, which should be interesting. We have the Cardinals versus the Rams. The Cardinals made a big move today, releasing D-Hop. So all of a sudden, their offense is not as good as it used to be. I think D-Hop is just the starting. I'm like, will Budda Baker be next? Kyler Murray could be after that. Who knows? This one should be an interesting tilt. The Philadelphia Eagles versus the New York Jets. I actually kind of like that matchup. That should be exciting. The Sunday nighter on October 15th at 8:20 p.m. is the Bills versus the Giants. The Bills will be just coming back from the Bills will be just coming back from England. Cowboys versus Chargers on Monday Night Football. It's not a divisional matchup, but there should be an interesting, especially in week 6. You should know a lot more about the Cowboys and the Chargers by that time. Will D-Hop go to the Chargers? And that receiving core would be sick if he went to the Chargers. All right. Week number 7, the Thursday. The Thursday game is the Jaguars versus the Saints on October 19th. October 22nd, we have the Falcons versus the Buccaneers. We have the Raiders versus the Bears at 1 p.m. We have the Browns versus the Colts. Will Richardson be starting in around week 7? That's a question mark right there. We have the Commanders versus the. Oh my goodness gracious! Just lost it. Okay, let's see. Can I go back? Okay, week. Where were we? Darn phone. Okay, week 7. Raiders, Bears, Browns, Colts, Commanders versus the Giants. That's a big divisional game in week 7. We had the Lions versus the Ravens. The Lions have a tough schedule. I'm like, that's the one thing, the Lions are going to have to win some tough games to, try and make the playoffs in the NFC. Bills versus the Patriots, a divisional game. We have the Cardinals versus the Seahawks. We have the Steelers versus the Rams at 4 p.m. We have the Chargers versus the Chiefs at 4:25. We have the Packers versus the Broncos. And our Sunday nighter in week 7 is the Dolphins versus the Eagles. That should be a good primetime game. And then the Monday nighter is the 49ers versus the Vikings. I like that one a lot. Especially if they trade Trey Lance to the Minnesota Vikings. That game could be exciting, right? Kirk Cousins gets injured. Trey Lance suits up for the Vikings against the 49ers. That would be exciting football right there. All right, week number 8. We've got the Buccaneers versus the Bills on Thursday night. We'll see. In week 8, where's Tampa Bay going to be? Who knows, right? The Bills, I think, will be good. Will the Bills be one of those going for D-Hop? That would be kind of exciting right there. Can you imagine Stefon Diggs, D-Hop, the 2 tight ends that they got? They have another wide receiver there. I'm like, that the Bills team could be really good if they have D-Hop. But is there enough balls to go around? I don't think so. But we'll see. The Jets, hey, D-Hop could go to the Jets too, or the Giants. So we have the Jets versus the Giants right there. October 29th at 1 p.m. We have the Jaguars versus Zach's Collections, Pittsburgh Steelers. Can the Steelers beat T-Law and Etienne in the 2024 season? Can Pickett and Pickens do the job? Pickett and Pickens. We have the Eagles versus the Commanders. We have the Rams versus the Cowboys. Vikings versus the Packers. Falcons versus the Tennessee Titans. Patriots versus the Dolphins. Saints versus the Colts. Texans versus the Panthers. Browns versus the Seahawks at 4:05. Bengals versus the 49ers at 4:25. Chiefs versus Broncos at 4:25. Arizona versus the Ravens at 4:25. The Sunday nighter is a good one. Bears versus the Chargers. Then we got the Monday nighter, Raiders versus Lions. That could be a good one as well. Like I said, the Lions have a tough little schedule here. Okay, I'd say the Jets Giants could be the game of the week on that one. Browns Seahawks might be a decent game. Bengals 49ers is probably the game of the week there. We have the rematch between Chiefs and Broncos. That could be a good matchup as well. So there's 5 or 6 good matchups that week. Week 9, we got Callie and Jordan Squad's Tennessee Titans versus Zach's Collections Pittsburgh Steelers on Thursday night. They love playing the Titans and Steelers on Thursday nights. I don't know. For some reason, it's like every other year, you always get the Titans versus the Steelers on Thursday night. Should be an interesting matchup. I'm like, 2 teams that could be, one's trying to go up, one's trying to go down. I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen there, but, we'll have to see. We got, then we got I think this game is in Europe somewhere. I forget where, but we got the Dolphins versus the Chiefs. Actually, going back to the Steelers have announced that they want to do more games in Ireland. So I'm like, that should be interesting. If Jacksonville's going to be England's team, the Steelers is going to be Ireland's team, and you might as well just play football in Europe all the time now. We got Vikings versus the Falcons. We got the Bears versus the Saints. The Rams versus the Packers. At one point, that could have been a good game. Not anymore. Commanders versus the Patriots. That should be a decent game. Seahawks versus Ravens. Buccaneers versus the Texans. We got the Cardinals going to Cleveland to face off against the Cleveland Browns. We got the Colts versus the Carolina Panthers in Carolina. We got the Giants versus the Raiders. Here, probably the match of the week. Actually, there's 2 of them here. We got the Cowboys versus the Eagles at 4:25. Then they decided to do this at night. I'm like, that's not Monday night, but it's Sunday night. But is this a good idea? Bills versus Bengals, Sunday night football. We know what happened the last time they played. And then on the Monday night, we got the Chargers versus the Jets. I'd say Cowboys, Eagles, Bills, Bengals, probably the 2 matchups that you want to, set your calendar for. Week numero 10, we got the Panthers versus the Bears. Panthers versus the Bears on Thursday night. Not a great Thursday night matchup. But hey, it could be better than we think. Colts versus the Patriots. That used to be a huge rivalry game. You'd want to watch that one, but it's no longer. It's November 12th at 9:30 a.m., so that is a game in England as well. We got the Browns versus the Ravens, Packers versus the Steelers, 49ers versus the Jaguars. That could be one of the big matchups of the year, of the week. Sorry, Saints versus the Vikings in Minnesota, Texans versus the Bengals in Cincinnati, Tennessee's visiting Tampa going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then we got the 4:05 games, Lions versus the Chargers. Good matchup there. Falcons versus the Cardinals, Giants versus the Cowboys, Commanders versus the Seahawks. And then we have the Sunday night matchup, which is the Jets versus the Raiders. And then we got the Broncos versus the Bills on Monday Night Football. So NFL has the Bills playing a Sunday night matchup, then the next week playing the Monday night matchup, giving them a little bit more rest. All right, week number 11, we have, Thursday night matchup. This is probably the best Thursday night matchup yet. We got the Bengals versus the Ravens. Then we have another divisional matchup, Steelers versus the Browns. And then we have the Raiders, Dolphins, Bears versus the Lions, the Titans versus the Jaguars, Chargers versus the Packers, Cardinals versus the Texans. I see some of these, and I'm like, you kind of know where the good games are, where the bad games are. I'm like, if you take a look, Bengals Ravens could be a good matchup. Both teams are really good. Steelers Browns divisional matchup should be a good matchup. Raiders Dolphins. I don't think there is any the Raiders might not be good, but I think both teams should be at least around 500, so it should be an interesting matchup. Bears versus the Lions, both those teams should be good. Titans, Jaguars, depends on where Tennessee is. I'm like, I think Tennessee should be still around that 500 mark. The Jaguars will probably be better than they were last year, so I think that should be a good matchup. But then you go see the Chargers, Packers. I'm like, there's a chance Chargers could run away with that one. Cardinals, Texans. I'm like, both teams are not that good. Cowboys, Panthers. Depends. I'm like, the Panthers defense is like really good. Can the Panthers defense slow down Cowboys that much? But at the end of the day, can they slow them down that much? I don't think so. So you kind of like chalk up a win for the Cowboys there. Giants, Commanders, depends on how Howell is. Will Howell be, a serviceable quarterback? We'll see. Buccaneers, 49ers. I'm assuming 49ers will probably dominate that game. Jets, Bills, that should be a good matchup. Who knows about that one? It's a divisional matchup. Aaron Rodgers wanting to beat the beast in the East, and that'd be the Buffalo Bills. So that should be a good matchup, possibly for first place too. Seahawks versus the Rams. Then we got the Sunday Nighter, which is the Vikings versus the Broncos. They're putting Russell Wilson on too much again, twice, two primetime games. Oh, then the Monday Nighter, Week 11. You want to, get your calendar. You don't want to be doing anything on November 20th. We've got the Eagles versus the Chiefs, Monday Night Football. Are you kidding me? They're going to treat us to an early Super Bowl? Let's go. Week 12, we got the Packers versus the Lions. Commanders versus the Cowboys. Okay, so the so week 12 is the American Thanksgiving. So these are all Thursday games. Packers versus Lions starts at 12:30. We got the Commanders versus the Cowboys at 4:30. I'm like, I like it so far. And then we got 49ers versus Seahawks November on Thanksgiving Thursday at 8:20 p.m. So you know what? All three of those Thanksgiving games, I'm kind of excited for. That's pretty exciting. And then we have on the 24th, the very first Black Friday matchup, and we've got the Dolphins versus the Jets. And that game starts at 3 p.m. So I kind of like, I don't know. We'll see. The 24th was always like for college football. So I don't know. Black Friday, I'm not sure how that's going to work out. But, hey, got to try it somewhere, and they're trying it. And then we got so the Sunday game. The first Sunday game is Buccaneers versus the Colts. Hey, Cole's Comic Claims. Hey, I'm like, Lions, Packers. I think the Lions have a good shot at winning a bunch of games this year. As I just, I have to find it again. I think the Lions have a really good shot at making the playoffs, possibly winning that division. Lions Thursday, Michigan State University. Friday versus PSU at Ford Field. Oh, sweet. Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? I'm like, so this year will be the very first year that the NFL has a Black Friday game. And I'm like, I'm not sure if I like that. But I'm like, it should, because I'm like, Black Friday was always, or at least for me, I'd always watch like all the college games, right? Because there'd be a bunch of like rivalry games that weekend. And, the NFL kind of, took over. But it's only one game, so we'll see. All right, where was I? Week 12, right? Steelers. Yeah. Okay, so we have Steelers versus the Bengals, which should be a decent game. Patriots, Giants, Panthers versus the Titans, Jaguars versus the Texans. I'm actually that's interesting. I'm like back-to-back games, back-to-back weeks. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers, Zach's Collections team, and then we got W. Voggs' team, the Carolina Panthers. I'm like, Tennessee, we gotta take this 1 year, win as many games you can, because I don't want to hear the end of it from these guys. They're all, we have Zach's collections, and then Will's part of the CWO now, and I just don't want to hear it from these groups. We got the Saints versus the Falcons, Rams versus the Cardinals, Browns versus the Broncos. Oh, we got a good one here. We got the Bills versus the Eagles at 4:25. That's a decent game. Then you have the Chiefs versus the Raiders. Then Sunday night is the Ravens versus the Chargers. And then Monday nighter is the Bears versus the Vikings. All right, week 13. We start off on Thursday night with the Seattle Seahawks versus the Dallas Cowboys. Then we have the Colts versus the Titans, Falcons versus the Jets, with the Panthers going into Tampa Bay on December 3rd. Whoa, here we go, Cole. We got the Lions versus the Saints. I definitely see the Lions winning that one. It just depends on how Derek Carr is, and is he locked in at that point? We'll see. I just think the Lions will be a better team. Defensively, offensively, they are going to be good. We got the Chargers versus the Patriots. We have the Cardinals versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Dolphins versus the Commanders. Broncos versus the Texans. Ooh, Eagles have like 3 tough games in a row. They had Kansas City on Monday night. The next week they had the Bills. Then they had the 49ers this week. The 49ers not going to be too happy, right? After, they got absolutely just beaten to a pulp in the AFC and NFC Championship game. We had the Browns versus the Rams. The Sunday nighter is the Chiefs versus the Packers. And then the Monday nighter is the Bengals versus the Jaguars. Hey, Jordan.
What's up?
How's it going?
Not bad.
How was school? It's Friday. All right. Week number 14, the Thursday nighter, is the Patriots versus the Steelers. Thank God it's Friday. Actually, I've been off for the last 2 days, so I'm like, no, I kind of don't want this to end yet, because I have to go back on Monday. Patriots versus the Steelers Thursday nights. Then we have the Texans versus the Jets. Rams versus the Ravens. Panthers versus the Saints. I took Tuesday and Wednesday off because Hazel graduates preschool Wednesday. Awesome. Let's go. Going into grade 1 next year. I'm like, we still have the twins are in. Well, I'm not sure if you guys have. So we have like junior kindergarten and senior kindergarten. So the twins are in junior, which is their first year. And then they go to grade 1. So they have 1 more year, senior kindergarten, then go to grade 1. Colts versus the Bengals. Buccaneers versus the Falcons. Jaguars versus the Browns. Ooh, we got a tough one for Cole Comic Claims. Lions versus the Bears. We have preschool and kindergarten. Oh, okay. Oh, really? Okay. So is it 1 year of hey, Zach Sports Cards and Collectibles. How are you, my friend? The Lions versus the Bears. The Bears are I'm like, Bears are an interesting team to me. I'm like, they're either okay, so it's kindergarten 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I guess so our junior kindergarten would be your preschool then. But our junior kindergarten is full day, so I'm not sure if yours is full days, but preschool is like something that kids don't have to do, but she's doing it because we and you got to get them out of the house. Come on, we know what it is. It's got to get them out of the house. Yeah, ours is the full day. Panthers versus the Saints. Yeah, exactly. Need to interact. Yeah, interact with other kids. Yeah, not that we need them out of the house. Bengals versus the Falcons. Jaguars versus the Browns. Lions versus the Bears. Okay, so the Bears, I don't know. The Bears are an interesting team to me. I'm like, they're either going to win, I don't know what, 5-6 games, or they're going to win 10, 11 games. I'm like, I don't think there's going to be, they're either going to win 5 games or probably going to win 10 plus. I'm like, I don't see it 10 plus though. I don't know. I'm like, they did improve themselves. They have some good receivers now. The only difference is, can Fields get them the ball? I don't know. So we have the Seahawks versus the 49ers, Vikings versus the Raiders, Broncos versus the Chargers. This is a good match. Good. December 10th at 4:25, we have the Buffalo Bills versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Is that a future AFC Championship game? There's some interesting games out here. Eagles versus the Cowboys, December 10th at 8:20. Oh my gosh! And then so they have a double header on the Monday, December 11th. They have the Packers, Giants, and Titans, Dolphins, both on December 11th at 8:15. I don't like that at all. I'm not sure why they're doing that. That's like 3 double headers on Monday night, which makes no sense at all. All right, week 15, we have the Chargers versus the Raiders, December 14th at 8:15. We have the Bears versus the Browns. Falcons, the Atlanta Falcons versus the Carolina Panthers. Steelers versus the Colts. Broncos versus the Lions. Vikings versus the Bengals. That should be maybe a good game. Giants versus the Saints. Buccaneers versus the Packers. Jets versus the Dolphins. The Texans versus the Titans. Texans going to embarrass us again? Oh, definitely can beat the Panthers. It should be interesting. I'm like, Bijan Robinson is an absolute beast. He will be your starting running back, but then you have 2 other guys that can like run for 1,000 yards as well. So I'm like, that should be interesting. You have a good receiver, you have a good tight end, and you have a quarterback that is unknown, and we'll see what happens. I'm like, it all depends on your quarterback. 49ers versus the Cardinals. Cardinals, obviously, with the D-Hop release is not in a good place. Commanders versus the Rams. Cowboys versus the Bills. Eagles versus the Seahawks. Then we got the Sunday nighter is the Ravens versus the Jaguars. And then we have the Chiefs versus the Patriots on Monday night. Who do you think is getting DeAndre Hopkins? You have Kansas City. Can you imagine if he goes to Kansas City? That'd be absolute like beast mode. Buffalo. Bengals. Bengals are going to have an issue with cap space, so I'm counting them out because they still have to sign Burrow. Then they have to sign Chase, and then they have to sign T. Higgins. But if you want a chance at winning this year, maybe you sign him for a 1-year contract. Jets, I think, is a place that he can go. The Giants is a place that he can go. Eagles have some. I don't think he's going to the Eagles. Maybe he's going to the Lions. If he thinks that they can get out, the easiest division to actually get out is to make an NFC team stronger, because right now you have the Eagles for sure. That's right there. And then who else? I'm like, every other team is an unknown quantity. I'm like, who's the favorites in, the Lions and the Vikings could be the favorites. And then you have your division with Atlanta and Tampa, where the winner's probably only going to get like 8 to 9 wins. Maybe on San Francisco, Seattle, maybe. But I'm thinking it's going to be Aaron Rodgers is going to be getting the call in the New York. I don't know. All right, we have a couple more weeks left. We got week 16, Saints versus the Rams, December 21st. Then we have on December 23rd, Saturday, we have a doubleheader. The Bengals versus the Steelers and the Bills Chargers. Didn't Rodgers get hurt? Like, not bad. I haven't heard, no, because I don't think he's even been practicing because he just got traded to the Jets, right? So yeah, those Saturday night games are pretty decent. Bengals, Steelers, Bills, Chargers. Then on the Sunday, you have the Commanders versus the Jets. We have the Lions versus the Vikings. That could be a good matchup for the Lions. Browns versus the Texans. Packers versus the Panthers. And these games are all on Christmas Eve. Seahawks versus the Titans. Colts versus the Falcons. It's going to be a good Christmas. Jaguars, Buccaneers. Cowboys versus the Dolphins. Who did I say? Cowboys versus the Dolphins. Cardinals versus the Bears. Patriots versus the Broncos. Raiders versus the Chiefs. Giants versus the Eagles. And on Christmas Day, get your presents out because we've got the Ravens versus the 49ers. The only thing that Rodgers probably got hurt was his head. I'm like, his ego got hurt. Week 17 starts on December 28th, and that's the Jets versus the Browns. Then we have the Lions, Cowboys. Titans versus the Texans again. The only good thing is if Tennessee can squeak out some wins, maybe, just maybe. Oh, did he? He tweaked his calf. I think he'll be fine for a start of the season in September. I could be wrong, but I think he'll be fine. Falcons versus the Bears. Dolphins versus the Ravens. Saints versus the Buccaneers. Patriots versus the Bills. The Cardinals versus the Eagles. Panthers, Jags. Raiders, Colts. Rams versus the Giants. 49ers versus the Commanders. Steelers versus the Seahawks. Bengals versus the Chiefs. I'm like, we're getting treated to a whole whack of like Bengals, Chiefs, Bills, Chiefs, Eagles, Chiefs. Should be pretty decent. Chargers, Broncos, and then so this is all on New Year's Eve. Packers versus the Vikings. We have at 8:20, which should be interesting because I wonder what time the national championship games are going to be. Rams versus Steelers is going to be a classic. I'm not sure about that. I'm like the only way it would be a classic is if Stenson Benson gets his first start and maybe throws for 450 yards all over the Steelers defense. All right, the last week we have the Bears versus the Packers. This is getting out into January 7th. Wow. Cowboys versus the Commanders. Broncos versus the Raiders. The Jaguars gets to dummy up the Titans. Texans versus the Colts. Right after Georgia three-peats. Right? I'm like, so when is the national championship semifinals going to be? I'm like, usually it's that New Year's Eve game. But I'm like, if there's a game at 8 o'clock, an NFL game, you're going to have all of a sudden the NFL's wanting to compete with college football. I'm like, they always stayed their own path. So it should be interesting to see where, because I'm not sure if that's even been announced yet. I'm sure they probably looked at the schedule and was like, okay, maybe not. Oh, look at that. My phone died. I was 5 games away from, I have no idea what. Does the playoff start next year? So there is a playoff, but it's still only 4 teams. It's not 8 or 10. I got some of these. I'm gonna open up. We got 30 cards of Zenith football. It says unwrap 5 rookies. So let's hope we get. Yeah. 2024. Okay. Ooh. I've not opened these yet. I have no idea where to even start here. All right. We got Saquon Barkley from the New York Giants. How much time does he have left? Leonard Fournette, no longer in Tampa Bay. Who knows where he's going to be? We got Joe Mixon, got in trouble. I'm like, how long is he going to be in Cincinnati? Again, another guy, Kyler Murray. How long is he going to be in Arizona for? Especially if they start releasing everybody. Here we go. Mr. Aaron Jones, maybe the only good part of the Green Bay Packers right now. We got Tua Tagovailoa. Got Robert Woods when he played for the Titans for 1 year. Nice. A.J. Brown of the Eagles. We got Javonte Williams of the Bronx. Nick Chubb of the Cleveland Browns. Might as well keep the Cleveland Browns going with Deshaun Watson. He should be better, coming back second year. Rusty after not playing for 2 years, so he should be back. Marquise Brown from Arizona. Will they release him as well, or will they try and trade him, especially after D-Hop? We have Preston Smith, an aging linebacker for the Packers. We have a nice Jalen Waddle from Miami. There we go. Tennessee. We got Jeffrey Simmons. Let's go. In 2021, he had 8.5 sacks. From Philadelphia, Dallas Goedert. We have a Cortland Sutton from the Broncos. Here we go. We got Mitchell Trubisky of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I won a Super Bowl with them in Madden 23. Don't know how I did it, but, it was a Pittsburgh miracle. That's for sure. We have Cooper Kupp. We have a Damian Harris of the Patriots. We have this one's a strange one. Cole Strange. Never even heard of this guy. New England scouts travel the nation looking for prospects ready to play at the next level. Their efforts led them to identify Strange, a dominant offensive guard who attended Chattanooga on an FCS program. The small school maven looks to keep Mac Jones clean and open holes with the Patriots. Hey Jay, how's it going? We got a strange one in Cool Strange. We got a Velus Jones Jr. from the Bears. Velus Jones Jr. Let's see where he is. After 6 seasons of college football, 4 at USC and 2 at Tennessee, Jones decided to leave campus for the real world, taking his talents to the professional ranks. The playmaker landed in Chicago in the 3rd round. Impressed in training camp with his versatility and soft hands, and found a spot on the 53-man roster. All right, looks like he's a wide receiver. I don't know. Velus Jones Jr. Hey, Guru, how's it going? I was literally 5 matchups away, and my phone died, so I don't have the rest of the schedule. I was like literally last week. We got Brian Cook from the Kansas City Chiefs. Cook appreciates his NFL opportunity, understanding that he beat the odds. Obviously, it's a job, said the rookie. You have to take that into consideration and understand the high stakes of it. But it's a blessing. I've been doing this since I was 4 years old, and I couldn't ask for anything else in the world. Can you imagine being able to play professional sports? Holy mackerel, that'd be awesome. All right, we got a Kamir Elam. I believe he's a wide receiver. Elam treats his playbook like the last piece of literature on earth and stays after practice to perfect his technique. He's asking all the right questions. His Bills pro safety, Jordan Poyer, he's ready to play, and he's somebody that I can trust going into a football game. Oh, Cornerback. He's a cornerback. Oh, nice. We got, I don't know, maybe not anymore, but Malik Willis of my Tennessee Titans. I still like Malik Willis. I'm still collecting him, even though we drafted a quarterback. After a fantastic 2022 preseason, following several jaw-dropping highlights, Willis was named the Titans' backup. Thought process hasn't changed, said the rookie. It's about going in and trying to work every day, still being that sponge, learning from both Ryan Tannehill and Logan Woodside. And I just understand that the job isn't finished. Yeah, the job's not finished. I don't know. He did not throw for many yards. I think 8 games, 200 yards. That's not good. Okay, this is a good one. We got a red zone rookie card of Mr. Kenny Pickett. Let's go, Kenny Pickett. If anyone, that's the guy you kind of want right now. Pittsburgh legend Ben Roethlisberger decided to hang up his cleats after the 2021 season. The Steelers wasted no time finding a potential replacement for Big Ben, filling the quarterback room with new names, including Pickett, who started at Pittsburgh. In 2022, the rookie competed for the team's starting signal color gig, and he is the starting quarterback for your Pittsburgh Steelers. We got another Pittsburgh Steelers rookie. It's not Pickens, though. It is Jaylen Warren. Jaylen Warren. Warren bested the odds, taking the long road to the NFL, making stops at JUCO, Utah State, and Oklahoma State while clawing his way back to the league in Pittsburgh. In his NFL debut, the Steelers' 2022 season opener, the well-traveled back totaled the rock 3 times and helped his squad to a 23-20 win against the Bengals. There we go. All right. Not as big as the Pickett, but we'll take it. We got a red zone of Zach Wilson. I don't know. I hope he still gets an opportunity to start in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers, probably 1-2 years in New York. So Zach, actually his brother, I forget his first name, but obviously it's Wilson. He plays for Utah. So he's the starting quarterback in Utah. So there could be 2 Wilsons in the NFL. Oh, this is a nice one. And it's a Tennessee Titan. And we got Derrick Henry. Very nice. And then the back looks like that. So we got a nice little Derrick Henry card. There you go. I don't mind that at all. And it's thick too. Look. All right, so it's a little bit thicker. It would have been nicer maybe if it was like a mem card or if there's like an autograph there, but beggars can't be choosers. So there we go. We got Derrick Henry. A three-time Super Bowl champ, Titans coach Mike Vrabel made a living tackling running backs, but he's not sure he'd have an answer for Henry's size and strength. Oh, he'd probably fall forward for the first down, Vrabel said. He outruns me for sure. I guarantee you he'd take off and outrun me to the sideline. Mr. Derrick Henry. All right, and the last card, it's a pretty nice one as well. It's a behind the numbers, number 17 of the New York Jets, Garrett Wilson. That's a little shiny shine. All right, that's a decent pack. We got a Jaylen Warren. We got a nice little Kenny Pickett. We did get a Malik Willis, 2 Titans, a couple Steelers, a Jet. So yeah, there we go. All right, it is 3:20. I think I have to go in a few minutes and pick up the girls from school. So yeah, so if anyone wants to, so what I'm planning on doing is in the next few weeks or whatever, just going by like each division, seeing and then just having a chat. So if anyone wants to join on that chat, we'll talk AFC East, West, Central, NFC East, all those divisions. We'll be just going one episode at a time. If anyone wants to join in, you're more than welcome. We'll chat NFL football. Maybe we'll open up some NFL cards, and we'll just go from there. All right. So thank you very much for coming by, and I'm thinking I might go live tonight. We'll see. We'll see how it is. We'll play the first regular season of the 2024 season of Madden 23. We're the defending champs, so teams are going to be coming up against us, and giving it all they got. But they're going to be going up against the Steelers and Kenny Pickett. So, all right, guys. Till next time. Peace out.